Kia ora and g'day to everybody who's supporters of the NZAF. I want to talk to you about the 2014 epidemic results and what we as the New Zealand AIDS Foundation intend to do about things. As you probably already know, 2014 saw quite an increase in the number of new diagnoses reported for gay and bisexual men. There were 136 guys reported as having HIV in 2014, and overall this is the highest number for several years and the third year in a row that we've seen an increase. I guess the question is, what's going on? Well, there are quite a few reasons, I think, why we're seeing more HIV at the moment. For a start, there is just a gradual slow pressure of an increased risk in the community because of the good news that people no longer die of AIDS. So every year there are a small number of more people with HIV, and therefore the risk of passing it on increases. So that puts pressure on the numbers to go up. The other thing is that we have increased the amount of testing that we're doing. That's part of our strategy, it's part of responding to HIV, but the more you test, the more HIV you're likely to find. And since we know that there are about 20% of guys out there who have HIV that don't know they have it, we're finding some of that historical HIV in the yearly statistics. But none of these things explain everything. I mean, clearly the numbers are going up, and I'm sure what's most important is, what do we intend to do about it? Well, for a start, I don't think that the 2014 results mean that everything we've been doing in prevention is not working. It's very important to kind of see the stats that aren't there, the number of people who didn't get HIV because they were using condoms. And we know that condom use is very high in New Zealand, and that is the key reason why the amount of HIV in the population is very low. So let's remember that all the work that the organisation and the community have been doing for 30 years is working. We do have new tools for preventing HIV that haven't been available throughout that 30 years, mainly related to HIV medications. And we do want to get the benefit of these new tools. It is definitely true that if a person is diagnosed with HIV, gets onto treatment and stays effectively on that treatment and reduces their viral load to undetectable, then their chances of passing on HIV reduce dramatically. So we're going to be pushing testing even more than we have before. Our testing month, which we've just completed, increased testing on a normal month by 130%. And over the last 10 years across New Zealand, HIV testing has gone up dramatically. Then of course we need to get people onto treatment. And at the moment, Pharmac still has a barrier to accessing treatment. They've agreed in principle to get rid of that, but they haven't agreed to fund it. The other kind of new tool that we've got is PrEP, which is taking HIV medications if you don't have HIV as a way of reducing your chances of getting it. Now, this is something that a lot of people around the world are very excited about. I think there are a lot of drawbacks to PrEP. It's very expensive. There are side effects to the drugs. It doesn't protect against STIs. But there are clearly going to be guys in New Zealand who want to use it and want to use that as a way of protecting themselves and others from HIV. So we're trying to get a demonstration project off the ground. PrEP must be used with sexual health physicians because it's a serious drug and people need to be tested for their STIs and monitored to see that they are taking the drug. So what we're going to see is increasingly sophisticated promotion of the Love Your Condom approach. You'll still see it very prominent in the streets, but very much so online, and online we're able to target the messages to different types of audiences. So overall what you'll see is something that in a picture looks a bit like this. A very large circle, the main thrust being on condom promotion. We're still going to be pushing Love Your Condom as the major prevention activity. The next bigger circle being testing. We really need to increase the amount of HIV testing. That's got to be supported by access to treatment. And then finally, a small targeted role for PrEP under the guidance of sexual health physicians. Now, if we can get all of that working together, then I do believe we can start to see the epidemic going down over time.